Hey guys, welcome to Lovin Meets Instagram versus reality. Is travel influencing the dream job? We're deep diving into what it's actually like to be a travel influencer in the UAE.
And so, if you have missed the interview, you can subscribe to the Lovin Meets podcast wherever you get your podcast from and enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. Does our next guest have the dream job? A travel influencer who's been to some of the most beautiful places in the world, but is it as easy as it looks, from brand collabs to luxury getaways? Let's dive deep into the world of travel influencing in Dubai with Kaunain and Fatima, aka Cravings. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Thank you so much. Your page looks amazing. I just want to give you that. But if you can tell everyone about your page, what will people learn when they visit Cruising Cravings on Instagram?
So, Cruising Cravings, like the name suggests, it's cruising and cravings. So, it's travel and food. But what people can really expect and what I really love to share is, budget finds, budget trips. Because growing up in Dubai, I have always been restricted to, traveling here and there. But people usually, expect that, okay, from Dubai, countries, like, people feel like Dubai is main hub, right? So there are a lot of countries that you can actually visit from Dubai. So I create more of budget videos and unique destinations.
True.
Yeah,
and that's one of the cool things, is that like it's always, sometimes it feels like it's off the beaten track, which I think is
exactly.
Cool. One of the things that we really love about you as well is that you've given up your full-time job and you do this full-time. Let's talk a little bit about that. Were you nervous?
Absolutely. I was nervous back then. I'm nervous now. It's always a nerve-wracking feeling every time you wake up, because you don't know what your next move is going to be, what your next destination is going to be. So yeah, it is quite a nervous feeling, but I think it also follows by the passion to actually just go out there and, just create content that resonates with people and give that platform to people to let them know that, you can explore these destinations too. They're very accessible, especially from Dubai. So, yeah.
Interesting.
What's been like your biggest wow moment in your career?
I think there have been small milestones that I probably have manifested at some point that have been, those moments where I feel like, oh, wow, I finally made it. So it's very difficult to put like one particular milestone. But yeah, I think the wow moment for me was, the main wow moment was, when people call me and ask me, are you even in the country? Like, are you even at home? Because they think that I'm always traveling. So for me to hear that from people I know, it's quite a nice feeling, because up until last year, I wasn't that person.
Right.
So yeah, it feels.
So you've been doing this full-time for how long?
For a year now. A year and a half.
And how many countries have you visited? And also, you mentioned, living in Dubai, it's difficult to visit some countries. Like, do you have a secret for getting visas quicker than anyone else?
Yes. I actually try to visit more countries which are visa-free or visa on arrival, because I think that's what a lot of residents in UAE resonate with. Yeah. I think we all have very limited time to really go out there and explore. So normally they would prefer countries that are, just easy to go. So I made a list of countries that are all visa free or visa on arrival, and I want to tick them off first and then like get into the visa, process of it. But yeah, I normally try to visit countries which are visa free, because that's just more helpful for the audience.
100%. Yeah, I agree.
Now, we know that influencing is numbers. Okay?
Yeah.
Numbers of views, followers, and the list goes on and on. So do you monitor your views closely? And like, what are your strategies to get more views?
I think I 100% do that, but I also feel Instagram as a platform keeps, evolving, and the algorithm keeps changing. So it's really difficult to to understand the success of a video based on the views alone. For me, what really matters is how much the video has actually been shared or talked about. That's the measuring point of success for me, because I could be doing a trend which would last for like 3 seconds and that video would get like 3 million views, for instance. But there are videos that people actually remember me for, And that's the kind of content I feel like, okay, that is what a successful trip or a video for me looks like.
So, love that, by the way. Can you share maybe a specific travel video that you feel really resonated with your audience?
I think my recent trip to Socotra, that was something very, very different and very unique, which I did it myself. And one thing I get a lot from my audience or like, my friends and family is that when I'm talking about a country, like they feel like they're part of it as well because I sound so convincing. But that's because when I visit a destination, I get so excited by how probably convenient it is or how interesting it is, to just go there. So it just like, shows in my videos. So Socotra was one such trip which came to me so randomly, and I went to that island. So I was actually, when I did my research, I was told that if I go to that country, I won't be able to go back to my home country because of some issues, but I did it anyways. And there are some myths that people don't share online, that you can get a stamp on your visa instead of your passport. Now, that's an information that people don't share, and everyone just thinks like, oh, I cannot visit Socotra. But I actually went and I, broke down that process, and that video, the people there, because that country was like nothing else. There were no buildings. It looks like a place where you would probably visit like 100 years ago. There's no civilization. It's just a very unique destination. So to really be there and, immerse myself into that kind of travel, I think that really resonated with my audience.
Where is Socotra?
Well, it's an island which is geographically part of Yemen, but it's controlled by UAE, which is actually very interesting because UAE, as a country, it's when you keep hearing that it always supports its brother nations and all of that, but I actually went there and I saw that almost like 90%, 70 to 90% of the country is supported by the UAE government, the admin control of it. And that's also Abu Dhabi is the only flight, like there's a flight in Abu Dhabi, that's the only one in the whole of world that goes to Socotra.
Wow.
From UAE. And it's a government chartered flight. So it's a very interesting process to go there.
How interesting. And I have to ask, as a woman traveling, do you travel alone, and are there safety concerns when you visit a new country ever? Does that ever ring an alarm bell for you?
100%, I think it does. Also, living in this country, we're so used to, having that comfort. You always feel like you're going to be safe, you're going to be just fine, right? But I have to constantly remind myself that I'm not in UAE, I'm in a different country, and it could be different here. So that has always been a concern, whether I go solo or I travel with anyone. So I think that's where it's a responsibility that comes in me, and, to share with my audience the prime locations that you're supposed to stay in, or like, avoid certain things. But yeah, so I take that kind of responsibility. Even when I go solo traveling, I'm always like updating my closed ones and making sure that I'm back at home at a certain time or always in the public. So yeah.
Interesting.
Well, we all know the famous phrase, Instagram versus reality.
Yes.
So when you travel, do you get to enjoy the destinations, or does creating content, taking a lot of footage, overpowers it?
I think I love creating videos. That's something that I have always made sure that I feel the passion towards creating videos. And if at a point I feel like I'm burning out, I actually take a small break on Instagram because I think it's very important really to be authentic, because people can see through very easily. Your audience is very smart, right? So creating videos is just part of something I love to do. Becoming an influencer just happened along the way. So I go wherever I travel, wherever I go out, even now, like in the morning, I'm just taking videos. I love doing that. So I'm just happy that content creation became a part of it. And yeah, but it has come to some points. It also affects the people I'm traveling with, because I have to constantly make sure that, I'm not too into the whole content zone and actually just enjoying it. But yeah, I think I kind of like manage that when I do.
So when you travel, is it work or pleasure?
It's working pleasure. Well, it's 100% pleasure, and then I just end up traveling for work, and that's something I've always dreamt of. So yeah, it's both, I guess.
You mentioned there, you touched on burnout. And I think even as people who don't post on social media, we probably experience social media burnout. So I just wonder, what are the realities? Because many people watching you today would think, that's what I want to do. I want to be a travel influencer, like dream job alert.
Yeah.
So what are the realities of your day to day?
So realities is it really affects your mental health to a lot of extent, because you're always constantly seeking validation, and you always feel that, okay, if this video did not perform well, like, is there something, are we missing something? Am I missing something?
Really?
Have I not communicated the point enough? Sometimes you also feel like, oh, this video is going to do really well, and it just doesn't. And you feel like, okay, all the hard work. Also, there are some challenges where, when you want to really spend time with your loved ones, like, I recently got married, and thank you. So it's actually, in fact, after marriage, I started traveling more because opportunities just ended up, So for me, I feel like those are some challenges, juggling between your personal life and your professional life, and creating that line between your personal and professional life. That's somewhere, I think those are some of the challenges that I face. And of course, finances is also an aspect that we need to take into account, because your money is going, right? Like, you need to find ways to sustain yourself in order to continue doing this. So yeah, those are some of the things.
Interesting.
Was there a destination that disappointed you, and why?
Disappointed?
Yeah.
You won't believe me if I said Bali disappointed me.
What?
Interesting.
Yeah, Bali did disappoint me.
Oh.
And a lot of my friends were like, oh, we're not going to Bali because Kaunain said it's not good. And to that, I said that maybe I didn't do it the right way. It's my perspective. Maybe I again, that was a work trip.
Okay.
So that's where the working for for a trip becomes a little bit off, because you go to these destinations and you think, oh wow, I'm going to Bali, but actually you're working there and it's not the same. So that place really disappointed me. So I do want to go back and experience it for the way it.
If you would go back, would you go back and have another vlog done from your point of view?
Yeah.
And have it posted?
Yeah, and I would explain why I didn't like it the first time. My first trip was very commercial, so I did not really get to enjoy the Zen mode of Bali, and just like relaxing mode.
I loved Bali. I think I was there for a couple of weeks in my teacher days, because I had some great holidays, and I loved it, but you can see that in parts it's getting really busy. So you go there for thinking that you're going to get that zen, but actually it's packed with people and a lot of traffic. Do you have advice for people who want to go out and pursue their dream? So what you did going from one career to another is amazing. And could you give one piece of advice to people who wish to do the same?
I think, chasing dreams or like following your passion doesn't only mean like quitting your 9 to 5. It could also mean, just doing that one thing that you really want to do while you're working, or, getting that dream job, or, just doing some art. So I would really, what I would really like to say is that, when you actually set your mind onto something, I know it may sound cliche, but it is the reality of it. Like, when you actually set your mind to something and there's no going back, because when I quit my 9 to 5, I didn't quit thinking that let me give it a shot. I thought that this is all I've got now and I need to work towards it no matter what. And because I set my mind on that, I was only looking for doors and opportunities to help me grow that, instead of thinking I have a backup plan. So my first thing I always tell my friends or anyone is, don't have a backup plan, because then you're leaving a room for actually, jumping on to something if this doesn't work out. So I just went all in. Like, my last, for me to start the travel, for me to start this full time, the only investment I had was my last drawn salary. And I said, I'm going to use this to reinvest and then take it from there. So yeah, and I think because even today there are so many creators, there's the competition is quite tough. I think what really differentiates you from the rest is being yourself. And when I say being yourself, you cannot copy another person or they cannot copy you. Like you as a person, your thoughts, your creativity is just your thing. So that's your greatest USP. And if you really capitalize on that, people will love you for that and people will know you for your authenticity.
Nice.
So yeah.
Well, if you could revisit one place for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
Revisit from the destinations I've already been to? I think I would like to go to Thailand.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
because I think there's just so much to see and do. I just came back from a Thailand trip and it's the first time that I actually said, you know what, I want to go back. And the rest of the country, it's like, okay, I'm done with this. Now I want to look out for something new. But Thailand was one place where, it's everything is just so different. One corner is so different from the other corner and everything is super busy. And at the same time, it's really calm. So I would love to go there. And even India, I think, because India has a lot of, culture. It's quite different. But yeah, Thailand would be nice.
Thailand would certainly be nice. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time on the show. What a great chat.
Thank you so much for having me.
And that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you, Farah.
Thank you, Casey.
And we'll see you back here tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Bye-bye.